1969. And then, of course, you know that after that, Rivet Amber crashed. And so they started their life there and they ended it there. So I kind of like to see these guys sort of stay together because they're kind of special.
The other thing is, for those of you youngsters out there, those are A-model engines. That's when they try to burn water. Okay, 2,000 pounds extra thrust per engine. They put out 10,000 static, 12,000 with the water poured in for 135 seconds.
And they smoke.
An additional 100 decibels of noise.
Yes.
Very smoky and very noisy. Yeah. Amber had thrust reverse on it too, which was kind of nice. But of course, they have a lot heavier airplane. I'm going to put this back here in the corner, and then I'll go through these different slides I've got. Go ahead, Chuck. You want to kill the light? The 6th Strategic Reconnaissance Wing was what it was when it shut down in, what, 94. But when I got up there in 66, it was the 4157th Strat Wing. And then in March, it became the 6th Strat Wing. And when it was the 6th Strat Wing, it didn't have the pirate on the top. It was just the bottom portion. And then at that time, it was the 24th Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron. And then they took and made it the 24th Reconnaissance Squadron, and then they made the 24th Strategic, or the 6th Strategic Reconnaissance Wing and put the pirate on there. And I'd heard about this and I'd seen pictures of it, but I never did have one. So I looked around on eBay, and this came from eBay. One of the NCOs that was working up there when they shut it down in '94. That's where I got that from. This is the name of my website that I started 8 years ago, and it's a story about Rivet Ball, Rivet Amber, and Shemya. And it all started with a young lady. She was 1 year old when she lost her dad. He was TDY here from the 55th. Her name is Jenny Wonders, and she never had a clue as to what happened, because back then, when we left to go fly our missions out there, we never told anybody anything. We never told the boys anything. We just said, we got to go. We'd pack our bags, get on an airplane. They had no idea where we went. We flew 1,500 miles out to Shemya. We'd be out there a week, sometimes 10 days or more, depending on how the weather was for the return airplane to come down and land and pick us up and bring us back. But they didn't know anything. So when that airplane went down, it had 6 men on it that were TDY from the 55th. And now this story comes out. These kids find out all about this stuff. They're very appreciative. They put guest book entries. They make contacts with each other, and it sort of makes a family. They call it, matter of fact, they even call it the Rivet Amber family. But you'll hear me mention Rivet Ball, Rivet Amber intertwined, because we were like that. The crews, you know, we ate together, we played together, and we flew together. This is the address that I'm currently using if you want to get access to this website, rc135.com. It also works with number 6 srw.com, but I'm pushing this to keep it simple because this is easier to remember. But I will always have the 6 SRW up too. And if you can't remember any of that, just Google Rivet Ball, Rivet Amber, Shemya, and you'll get it. Okay, here's Rivet Ball. This is after it came out of its departing Ling Temp aboard Greenville, Texas, after it had its mod, and it started out as Nancy Ray, then it went to Wandabell, and when this photo was taken, it was headed to Eielson. It was becoming Rivet Ball. I don't remember the exact mods they did, but it would go back to LTV every once in a while, and they would do some mods, and they just seemed to like to change the name. We kind of preferred Wandabell when Rivet Amber was called Lisa Ann. That was Lisa Ann and Wandabell, and then it became Rivet Amber and Rivet Ball. For those, how many people here have been to Shemya? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people. Okay. Well, you're missing out on a great place.
No behind every tree, right?
I've got a poem here that I managed to get. This is on my website. I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of cute. Across this great United States, Shemya is the spot where we are doomed to spend our time in the land that God forgot. So here among the dogs and rats where men have set their brew, out in the middle of nowhere, 1,000,000 miles from you. We sweat, we starve, we stink and freeze. It's more than normal men can stand. We're not exactly convicts, just defenders of our land. Way up north in the land of ice and snow, this island lies where I once had to go. 2x4, an airstrip and a dock. a tiny place that we call the Rock. We belong to the United States Air Force, earning our monthly pay, guarding people with millions for a measly $250 a day. We stay up here 12 months, 12 long months, a sentence we all hate, and we only live for our return to the lower 48. Nobody knows we're here, nobody gives a damn. We're just a bunch of flyboys who belong to Uncle Sam. But when we pass those pearly gates, we'll hear St. Peter yell, "Step up, men of Shemya, you've spent your time in hell." Kind of author unknown. For me, I have to say it was the most enjoyable assignment I ever had. I remember when my aircraft commander B-52s heard I was going up to Shemya, he says I'd get out of the service if I had that assignment. And I said, well, I was looking for a change. And it sounded like an adventure, and it was. It was the best of times and the worst of times, because the worst of times we lost 2 airplanes and 19 people. The best of times was what we were doing. We were involved. And every mission was an actual combat mission, if you want to call it that, going off to Kamchatka to collect information on the Soviets. Here's the island of Shemya. Here's Fairbanks. This was the route we flew back and forth to every week or so. And then when we would take off to go on a mission, it would take about an hour. We'd come up here, we'd fly along the coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula. And then I'll show you on another chart here where the missiles go and they impact into Kamchatka. Okay, sure. Here's Shemya. This is Rivet Ball right here, coming in for a landing. This is hangar number 2. This is where we live, with the airplane. This is hangar number 3. This is where Rivet Amber lived. These are 2 huge radars up here called White Alice. It was part of a communication system to keep track of all the communications up north. This is the one and only runway. This right here drops right off into the sea on that end. And right here it's a 40-foot drop-off. And you'll see that on one of the layers where it crashed. Okay, sir. This picture here is made from the same negative that the print that I'm giving you here, except that I put here Rivet Ball, dates, and Shemya on here. And it's outside hangar number 2. Now you'll notice this light pole here. There's a story. Shortly after I got there, it was a blowing storm coming back from an operational mission, and crunch, the left wing went into the light pole. So of course, navigators and EWs and pilots, they're always looking for an opportunity to pull each other's chain a little bit. So they took a grease pencil and we put a telephone pole on by the entrance half with a little notch taken out. That was our way of